vision, and objectives of Berry Street. Berry Street exists in order to assist and care for children, young people, and families experiencing poverty, violence, and abuse. The organisation helps families who are most vulnerable. Berry Street does this by helping families stay together in safe and healthy homes in order to assist families create the future they have always wanted and imagined. The values. The staff of Berry Street are guided by 5 directed values. These values include courage, integrity, respect, accountability, and working together as one team. The vision of Berry Street is to, as a team, work together in order to change the lives of service users, to reimagine service systems, and to help children, young people, and families succeed in life. Berry Street's mission is to ensure both children, young people, and families are safe, that they thrive and are hopeful towards their future. Making an impact is also one of Berry Street's missions. Through this, Berry Street aims to include lived experience into their service and delivery. Lastly, growth and sustainability is where Berry Street strives to grow sustainably and to expand their services to meet the needs of the community. The objectives of Berry Street. Berry Street aspires to see their purpose come to life. Berry Street works alongside service users in order to develop and deliver the best possible outcome. The approach Berry Street uses that surrounds all that they do includes relating, innovating, and advocating. By relating, Berry Street listens, forges strategic partnerships, and collaborates in order to make an impact on individuals and families. This is the way Berry Street respects, supports, and builds relationships with their staff, service users, government sponsors, partners, and donors. Berry Street innovates, and by doing so, they combine evidence with practical experience and build on new ideas and solutions, and unite to create a better experience for service users. Lastly, Berry Street advocates. This is the way they seek to inspire and challenge social injustice and inequality among society. How Berry Street keeps their mission, vision, and objectives active throughout the organisation. Berry Street does this through the use of their strategic plan, surveys, check-ins, and feedback. The strategic plan created by Berry Street is a plan that outlines how they will change lives and reimagine service systems as a whole. The main goals of this plan is to reimagine the future, make an impact, support those in the organisation, and growth and sustainability. Every employee in the organisation has access to this strategic plan. There is transparency, meaning those within the organisation, including especially staff, are able to express how they feel about the plan and whether it is effective or not, whether changes need to be made to it, and what changes exactly. Berry Street has continued to achieve their strategic goals whilst also making an impact on the lives of children, young people, and families. Surveys are another way the organisation ensures that their employees are aware of the mission, vision, and objectives, and that they stay alive within the organisation. This creates space for the employees of Berry Street to have their say and making sure the employees feel valued. By letting staff have their say, this will result in happy staff who are dedicated to building greater connections with the individuals and families they work with, and in turn, also keeping the retention of staff. Berry Street also provide regular check-ins with their staff to ensure that they are getting the support needed, or if any changes need to be made in order to do so. Any person may provide feedback or a complaint regarding any of the services Berry Street provides. The feedback and complaints given to Berry Street are important to the organisation as it helps them provide appropriate support while also helping them to improve their service delivery and giving the organisation a representation on whether they are meeting their vision, mission, and objectives.
Berry Street is operated using 3 charters. These are their Family Service Charter, their Youth Service Charter, and their Client Service Charter. As Melissa and Talissa previously mentioned, Berry Street offers children, young people, and families services that are aimed towards early intervention and prevention. Founded in 1877, Berry Street built their organisation on the principle of caring for mothers and babies that had been abandoned, an action that defied social norms of the time. Berry Street is partially governed by 2 key policies. These are their terms and conditions, a legal agreement between Berry Street and their users, and their privacy policy, a legally binding condition from the government that the organisation must obey what is outlined by legislation. Berry Street policies. These are their terms. A fundamental aspect of Berry Street is that it is a public, not-for-profit organisation that, in 2021-2022 financial year, received 70% of its funding through state government grants. They further received 17% through federal sources of income and 13% through independent sources of funding. Berry Street is a registered charity with the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission, ACNC, and as such must abide by relevant legislation and acts of Parliament in their field. Legislation such as the Privacy Act 1988 Commonwealth, Privacy and Data Act, Protection Act 2014 Victoria, Health Records Act 2001 Victoria, Family Violence Protection Act 2008 Victoria, Child Wellbeing and Safety Act 2005 Victoria. The last 2 forms of legislation are certainly important due to the nature of the services they provide. These services being family violence care and foster care for children, 2 cornerstone services. Berry Street has been providing services to children, young people and families for over 140 years. Berry Street offers 10 separate branches of programs and services. These programs and services all strive to fulfill the Berry Street auspice. That is, families stay together in safe and healthy homes so they can create the future they imagine for themselves. These 10 programs and services are out-of-home care, post-care support, trauma services, family violence support services, education services, young people, community programs, supporting past. These services and programs are then organised into teams, each team having a team manager and then the team manager reporting to their director, who is based on region. These regions are South East Victoria, Western Victoria, Hume, and Northern Victoria. Depending on what department an individual works for, their superiors then report to the Executive Director of Services. To paint an example, we should use me. I work for Berry Street in their Take 2 service, a service under the umbrella program of trauma service. I'm a team member and report my work to my manager, who reports it to the regional director, who in this case is the director of Take 2 specifically. Berry Street, to replace the role of regional manager, have appointed a director of Take 2. That information is then relayed onto the Executive Director of Services. The difference on which director is involved is essentially based on location and the type of service department the individual is employed in. I gather from the Berry Street website, their directors consist of 9 members who are in control of their own regions and programs. These are Tom Bowman, Director of Innovation, Dr. Tom Brunzell, Director of Education, Dr. Alison Cox, Director of Take Two, who I mentioned earlier, Kate Percy, Director of Knowledge and Outcomes, Patrice Jackson, 4 Regional Directors, Andrew Lote, Principal Practitioner, James Stubbs, Regional Director of Northern, Tim Pedlow, Regional Director of Southeast, Warwick Rimbleton, Regional Director of Western. These 9 directors are then governed by an executive leadership team, which includes a CEO, a CFO, etc. Malcolm Perisco is the Chief Executive Officer. Dr. Jane Daniels is the Executive Director of Organisational Effectiveness. Georgie Dwyer, Executive Director of People and Culture. Annette Jackson, Executive Director of Statewide Services. Jenny McNaughton, Deputy CEO and Executive Director of Services. Tom Panicott, Executive Director, Corporate Services. Heidi Reid, Executive Director, Strategic Engagement. What separates Berry Street's board from what other organisations contain is that their board is voluntary. Their board members consist of Dr. Joe Flynn, AM, President, Tim Cartwright, Vice President, Paul Mann, Vice President, Joshua Grace Warrior, Board Member, Karen McLean, Board Member, Susie Quirk, Board Member, Lynn Glover, Board Member,